Hey everyone, I'm Jared.
I'm Chantel, and we are joined by Tolkien today.
Welcome to the Poured Out Podcast. Today we are talking about showing up. Special guest today.
Yes, we have a kitten on with us. I don't think he's going to last, actually.
No, we'll see. Cats are unpredictable.
Aren't they? Oh, he just wants your lap.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, so that's, I guess, one thing new that happened recently.
Yes, I don't know if he came through last week. He was meowing at the door a little bit. We got him right before we recorded last week.
Yeah, I don't think you could hear it. I don't know. I didn't notice.
Well, he's going to be purring through this one today.
Yeah, and we'll see. We might need to make an exit. We'll see. Yeah, so end of the month, or pretty much end of the month here.
Yes.
It was, I feel like a lot happened, kind of. It was a busy month.
We didn't have any number of kid changes this month, but I feel like where I was at, where life was at the beginning of the month compared to where it's at now is very different.
Yeah.
Feels like it.
Yeah, so, I don't know, highlights, lowlights.
I think the kitten's going to be a highlight. I was probably the most hesitant to get him. I don't know how to describe it, but he's cute and really good.
Yeah, so far, he's been really...
We decided
really
to go
good.
with an actual breed of a cat and not a farm cat. And I feel like that is making a difference.
Yeah, he seems to actually like people.
Yeah.
Which has been good. Reika's really done a good job taking care of him and like spending time with him and stuff. And so you can't actually see here. I got to move the...
Oh, yeah.
There he is.
Yeah, he's a ragdoll cat, which they're known to be a little bit calmer and they love people.
Yeah.
Which our other cat, previous one, she just tried to hide and didn't really like people.
And she wanted to be outside. And
Yes.
So we'll see. I feel like there's been a little bit of like potential allergies related to the cat.
Did you see? Yes, Reika's
Well,
lip.
Reika definitely has, yeah.
Her lips swelled up so much the other day. She's that crazy cat lady that loves cats but is definitely allergic to them. But I think with our last one, they leveled out after the first couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that happens again.
Yeah, and for her, it's not just like breathing in. It's like when she actually
When she touches him.
touches him to her face or something. So
Yes. When she gets scratched or her face touches him with her face. Those are the big things. So
Yeah.
hopefully we can survive. You are...
I've been like stuffy and stuff, which could be cat and could just be life.
Could be a cold
It's
or
very
something.
dry around here.
Mhm.
Could be a cold. Yeah, it's so dry. Hasn't really. I mean, we got a little bit of snow.
Barely any, though. And it hasn't rained for like 2+ months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that could be that. But yeah, I feel like it was a busy month. I mean, we started the month coming back from a trip,
Right.
a short little trip, and then it was Reika's birthday.
Oh, yeah. Right. That
And
was all this
then
month.
the kids are now doing soccer 1 day a week each.
Yes, I am coaching soccer 2 days a week somehow.
Yeah,
I don't know how that happened still.
because you volunteered because nobody else did. So
That's how you
And
like your volunteers.
yeah, well,
Someone's got to do it.
someone's got to do it.
I don't
and
mind it.
Yeah, it's been good so far. They've been having fun, and it's a little unfortunate because a couple of the nights conflict with other stuff that we have
Yes.
previously.
I would
already
have
planned.
volunteered, but they're on each of their nights. I have something once a month.
Yeah,
And so there was never it wasn't either team that I could be like, yeah, I can be there all the time. I'll coach this team. So I'm coaching both of them with another coach each because they also have things going on.
yeah,
So it's a little bit.
which is just normal for, I feel like, people around here. Everybody's got lots of stuff going on.
Yes. Yeah.
But
I wish I could just be a dedicated coach for one team instead of being
Yeah.
3/4 for
Yeah.
2 teams.
Yeah.
I guess it was September that I started the library book club, but I went to my second meeting this month.
Mm-hmm.
That was good. It's cool to kind of get back out into the community after it feels like 3 years
Yeah.
in
'Cause
hibernation,
That
isolation.
book club hasn't happened for 3 years,
No.
right? So
Now well, I did quit it just before COVID because we got our first foster kids.
right.
So this month was 3 years since we started fostering.
Right.
So I did quit knowing that life would be a little busier. And then it turns out I could have continued, but then COVID hit. So yeah, first time back for a while.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then my pastoral candidacy was announced mid-month.
Yes. So what does that mean?
So what does that mean? It means, so for the past year, I've been an elder or pastoral apprentice. And I guess for people that, I guess most people probably have a different church structure, but we don't really hire pastors.
Right.
Yeah. And so our church was planted from another church. So the current elders or pastors of our church came from that church. And so the way we like to do things is to train up leaders from within the church. And so I've been training, I guess, learning a lot. I mean, I still have lots of learning to do, but yeah, I guess that's the next, the pastoral candidacy is the next step where.
This is that awkward stage where in a wedding they say if
Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Because they announced it, and if anyone had a reason that you shouldn't take the next step, then they were supposed to talk to somebody.
Well, and it's also the opposite too. It's for affirming that this makes sense.
Absolutely.
So,
and
but yeah, it does feel like
if people had an issue, they should have maybe mentioned it in the last year. But it has that feeling of that awkward, oh no, is somebody going to stand up? You know?
Totally. Yeah, I get that.
I don't know if people do that at weddings anymore. But
I don't know. We haven't been to a wedding in a couple of years now.
No.
Anyway.
But that was always an awkward part of the wedding. Just like, oh, this could get really weird.
Be kind of funny though. Like I kind of always want someone to, just because it would be interesting.
It would be memorable.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's not how I would want my wedding to be memorable.
No, for sure not. But somebody else's wedding, it would be entertaining, I guess.
Yeah.
And so then I was also preaching
right
2 weeks ago, I think.
In the middle of the month.
There was a lot of prep for that.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's been busy. I feel like the highlight of my month is this weekend because we barely have anything planned. And so I think this is the first weekend of the month that we were kind of just home most of the time.
Right, because we were still celebrating Thanksgiving last weekend, which was 2 weeks after Thanksgiving. Yeah. Yeah,
and the weekend before that, there was an event in the community that I was at most of Friday and for a good chunk of Saturday. Yeah. So yeah, it's been busy, and so I'm looking forward to a quieter weekend. We're actually recording not on like Sunday afternoon.
Not the day before this is going live.
Yeah.
Whole day earlier.
Yeah.
Which is ideal.
It's Saturday today, right? I had Friday off, so it was...
Yes, yesterday felt like Saturday.
Better. So yeah. Any other highlights from your month?
I was going to say this is a month where I think I've played more board games than I have in a very long time. So I went to a homeschool board game.
That was this month?
Yeah, it was like beginning-ish of the month, I think. And then one of the ways we're trying to like get out in the community is to spend time at a local board game store, which is run by friends of ours. And then we rented some board games, and then Ephraim kept wanting to play them.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There may have been some cheating involved on his side, but good thing he's terrible at cheating. So he actually, what happened is he stacked all the wilds on the top of the deck without realizing like it goes every other.
That he wasn't going to get all of them.
Yeah. But I had shuffled it anyway, so I messed up his cheating. And then the next time he put them all at the bottom. I don't know what his theory is, but good thing he's bad at cheating. Yeah. So, and then we started puzzling this month.
That's right.
So it felt like a lot of game stuff for me. Yeah.
And it's been busy, but a lot of good things.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So Today's topic, showing up or faithfulness.
Well, yeah, showing up, I think, is the first step. Because sometimes
Yeah.
showing up means maybe that you are doing it because you need to, which sometimes I think a person just needs to do, right?
Sometimes you need to, yeah. Yeah, this is something that I feel like this was one of the first ideas that we were like, oh, we should talk about this. And I don't even know if I suggested it or if you did.
I have no idea. But we even thought about naming our podcast something about something.
It's like the art of showing up or something like that. Or
it was a possibility.
Because I feel like that has been really instrumental in our growth. I feel like it's just showing up. I guess, what do we mean by showing up? I guess sometimes literally just showing up to things.
Yeah, like I know a handful of people, and no one that would be listening to this, so don't worry, it's not you. But I know some people that if we say, okay, yeah, we'll meet here at this time, I am like 95% sure that they're going to cancel or not show up or be severely late.
Right.
But generally, like, they will always cancel. And so showing up is just like being someone that is dependable in, like, on the base level.
Yeah. Someone that does what they say they're going to do.
Yeah.
And, actually follows through on their commitments. And yeah.
And I mean, things happen. Sometimes people cancel. I get that. But when those people that you know that it happens all the time and you don't feel like you can trust them. So I think this showing up is the opposite of that.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like throughout our life, especially involvement in church, has largely just been showing up.
Yeah.
Not that we're not doing anything, but I mean, the reason we are doing things started with showing up in the first place, right?
For sure.
There's a quote, and nobody's really sure if it's like who it's attributed to Woody Allen, who apparently said showing up is 80% of life. And I really feel like that's like seems fairly accurate.
I would agree with that.
At least to our life. Like, I think about even the pastoral candidacy, and it's like, how did that start? It's not like it was something that, I was necessarily pursuing, 10 years ago as intentionally pursuing.
Yeah.
But it just kind of grew from, wanting to be involved, wanting to serve the church in different ways, and literally being there, being involved in different ministries, literally showing up to set up and clean up. And
well, and even like thinking about a previous church, a lot of the stuff they did was you got voted in for different things, like Sunday school teacher, and
right.
And if you wanted to be a youth leader, they asked you, and they would always ask the people that were consistent at showing up, right? The people that they saw that were visible.
And that makes sense because you know that they have shown a level of commitment,
right,
and faithfulness to serving in whatever capacity, right? I kind of feel like it's Luke 16, where it says one who is faithful in very little is faithful in much. And I kind of feel like that's everything starts with doing the little things, showing up. And I mean, if you don't show up, if you aren't physically there, then you're not going to be able to actually serve, or how can God use you in that way if you're not actually there to be used, I guess.
Yep. That's totally true. The more people are around, the more they get more responsibilities, and I think it's a good thing because we all want to grow.
It is, yeah.
Or we should want to grow.
I mean, there are times when there aren't enough people showing up, and so the same few people end up doing probably more than they should be because they're the reliable ones.
Right.
And so that's why I think it's important to encourage people to just like show up, for
Yep.
a lack of a better word. Like, I mean, I think it can be really evident in our church, where we don't have a physical building.
Right.
So we rent. And so we have to set up every morning and take down after the service.
Yeah.
And so there are people that show up at 8 a.m. on a Sunday, every Sunday, to set stuff up, and like they're not paid anything. Like this,
Mm-hmm.
just a volunteer thing that they do. And I think that's really kind of, it almost sets the tone, I guess, for just service,
Right.
and how like the church isn't something you just go to and consume, but it's a family, and if you don't show up to your family stuff, then it's kind of a problem, I guess.
Yeah. And I think part of that too is sometimes it can show when maybe there is a lack of people showing up, when people are asked to, like, so someone that is showing up is asked to do something that's out of their element because there's no one else around.
Right.
If we could have, it's that balance of like, do you say yes because you're willing and available, or do you say no so that somebody else will step up?
Kind of pushes people that
Mm-hmm.
maybe are more gifted in a certain area, but haven't volunteered to serve in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's tough because, I mean, some things at the end of the day just need to get done, whether or not it's the
Yeah.
best person, the most qualified person, but really, I guess the best person is the person that's going to do it faithfully. And ideally, yeah, if you're super gifted in a certain area, then you'd be willing to serve in that area, but sometimes they don't always
Yeah.
match, I guess.
Yep.
My computer is dying,
And your lap is
and my lap is, yeah.
being used.
Yeah.
Cat's distracting.
So, and I think also the big thing around the idea of showing up, and it basically just means like serving. Like, I'm thinking of it in terms of, I guess, right now, serving the church
Mm-hmm.
specifically. But I mean, it can mean,
It can be being a soccer coach.
yeah, it totally can. Yeah. And just showing up to things in the community so that
Yeah.
you can actually build relationships and get to know people. Like, my default is to just stay home all the time. And
That
so,
would be, yeah.
like, if
That's
I
my
could
want.
yeah, that's my want.
Yeah.
But I guess, and so what motivates people to show up? Hello, cat.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Well,
Like, ultimately, we show up, and it's not always because you want to.
no.
But I think it comes down to just, I mean, Jesus showed up for us, right?
Mhm.
And that's the source of a desire to serve, even when it's outside of your gifting, I guess,
Yeah.
or something that you would prefer not to do. But I mean, yeah, you just think about how Jesus was faithful. He showed up, he went to the cross for us. He loves us without really us doing anything to deserve it, or definitely not doing anything to deserve it. And so I think it kind of all flows out of that. It's like, you don't want to just show up because you feel like you have to, necessarily, because or show up because of what other people would think if you
Right.
didn't, or you want to, gain some kind of reputation or something. But it has to all flow out of what Jesus has done for us, and I think that is what makes it long lasting. That's the
Yeah, because there are a few times every now and then where it's like, yeah, I'm just showing up because this is what I need to do. And I think that can push you through, but you're not going to be able to do that long term.
but and even that sometimes is okay, because it shows that you are loving Jesus, right? Because you don't always feel love.
Yeah.
But sometimes you still do things in love because you love someone.
That's right.
Even if you don't particularly feel very loving towards them at the time. And so, but it's still coming out of love. It's not coming out of like obligation, or I have to do this, otherwise, you know, I won't be accepted, or things like that. But that's mine.
One of the alternate options for a cat name was Earl Grey, so if he likes your tea, maybe we should have gone with that.
I still think that's I mean, if he was Gray, I would have really pushed for that. He's going to get himself into trouble here.
He is going to get into trouble. Don't do it. Go back to your plant spot.
Yeah, and I think the other part of the idea, because we talked about showing up and AKA faithfulness.
Yeah.
And I feel like the other part of that is just like it's an ongoing thing. And so it's like the word steadfast, I guess, which is, it just like it's not stopping.
That's right.
It's continuing on even when it's hard. And like a lot of the things that we are called to be faithful in are just small, seemingly really unimportant things.
Yeah.
And I think those things are often harder to show up for, like, because it's one thing if it's like a big major thing and you're like, yeah, you're really excited about it, but when it's small and seems unimportant, it can be hard to just continually do those things over and over.
I think that's it makes me think about like the movies that they put out these days. So the popular ones are always, you know, superheroes doing this huge thing, and where did they? Oh, he's over there. Okay. And so we have this idea in our minds that, you know, like we need to do something big. And not that it would be very interesting to have a movie about a person just, you know, doing the little things day after day.
Yeah.
But I think it can skew our idea of what we're supposed to be doing in life, or what we're supposed to be striving for.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think sometimes we are going to be put in those situations where we do something that is out of the norm and is like it's difficult, but it's exciting, and you know, you get really amped up for that. But I think for most people, the majority of life is just the day-to-day, you know, going to your 9-to-5 job, doing it well, parenting your kids, you know, if you got young kids, changing diapers and dealing with bedtime and all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't seem really glamorous and exciting, but I think being faithful in those things and showing up for your kids and showing up for your church to, you know, serve people, those things matter.
Yeah.
And they can be a really good witness to the gospel, to the continuing faithfulness of Jesus towards us, right?
Yeah. I agree with that.
I really like the quote, because the word steadfast comes up a lot at least in the ESV version of the Bible, which I really like that word, but it's not really a word that we use.
No, not these days.
But the Jesus Storybook Bible has a really good, I mean, it's not really a translation because it's a paraphrase. It's a storybook
Bible.
A story. Yeah, but now I lost it. But it's like the never giving up, always and forever kind of love.
Yeah.
And so I often think about that definition as to how we've been loved. And I think the more that we remind ourselves of how we've been loved, the easier it is to show up and to be faithful in the little things and to love others out of that love that we've been loved with. So
yeah, that's good. Now I want to read that again. The Jesus Storybook Bible.
Yeah, it's super good. I feel like it's one that we could read as a family
Yeah.
every year probably.
Well, and I think they have an adult version too without the pictures.
Oh, okay.
So you feel like you're an adult reading a story, not an adult reading a storybook. But
if you haven't read that Jesus Storybook Bible, I would highly recommend it.
Yeah, it's very good.
Sally
Lloyd
Lloyd
Jones.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sally Lloyd Jones. Sally Lloyd Jones.
Nailed it.
First try. Yeah, it's really good. Basically goes through from beginning to, from creation to new creation.
Yeah.
And just shows how everything points to Jesus.
Yeah.
And so it's really, really good to, for kids especially, to show like, the Bible isn't just a bunch of stories about superhero David killing Goliath and,
individual stories.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the whole big story of God, and relates everything to Jesus. So super good. Highly recommended.
For sure.
Anyway, bit of a tangent there,
Yeah.
but yeah, any other thoughts from you on faithfulness, showing up?
No, I think you did a really good job summing it all up. So much of life, I feel like, it's just showing up. If we hadn't taken the idea of showing up as seriously as we had, I'd be very curious to see where we would be at in life. Like, I think it has changed the trajectory of our lives.
For sure, yeah. Yeah, and like, because we're both people that prefer, like, quite literally to not go to things, usually.
Yeah.
Me even more so, I think.
The beginning of COVID was pretty much just a dream come true.
In many ways, yeah. It's not having to go anywhere. But, I mean, God obviously pushed us out of that and has continued to, like, push us out of our comfort zone. And, he's been faithful to us. And so out of that, we want to be faithful and serve him and love him by showing up for others, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's it for this week.
Do you have something for people to leave in the comments? Highlight from the month?
Yeah, sure. If you got highlights for the month of October, this should go up on the last day of October on Halloween.
That's
so
right.
Yeah. Let us know how your month was. And again, if you have any topics you're interested in us chatting about, interested to hear your suggestions in the comments as well.
We have a few ideas coming up, a little bit more geared towards, I guess, December and November.
Yeah.
We've got some ideas, but
yeah, always interested to hear
for sure
from others and any feedback and ideas, topics. Yeah, I think that's it.
Oh, okay. Wait, one more thing coming off of that. Our anniversary is in December. If you guys have questions for a Q&A, I'm going to say that every week from now on. We can gather.
That's a good idea.
A bunch of Q&A questions about marriage, relationship, I don't know.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
We know it all, so.
Absolutely.
No, we don't.
We're also very sarcastic.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's great. I'd like to hear what people want to know about us, I guess. But yeah, that's it. Have a good week.
Yeah, see you.